What up, YouTube? It's Two Fat Guys Pull Us, and before we get to our video, we wanted to let you know about our milestone giveaway for 1,000 subscribers.
We are giving away an Amazing Spider-Man issue number 4. This is the first appearance of Silk, the original Sin tie-in. I'm sure everybody is familiar with this book. This is a CBCS 9.8.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Big boy.
This book is much hotter than it was when we first bought it for the show.
Yep, that's true.
You insist on still giving it away, and I'm very happy to do it.
You can tell that he is not. But anyway, we are giving this away when we hit 1,000 subscribers. Kick-ass, key issue, first appearance of Silk, is someone's going to win this book. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and let's get to the video, shall we? What up, YouTube? It's Two Fat Guys Pull Us, and we've got some new Marvel solicitations.
Yeah. Spider-Man
joins Fortnite, Daredevil's new series debuts, and more in Marvel's June solicitations for 2022. We'll get to Fortnite. I don't know how I feel about that. I know that you were saying earlier that the actual web command, what am I trying to say? Web
movement
mechanic, yes, movement,
yes.
Is good in the game, but I just don't know if it's going to translate to a comic.
Well, I don't know. We're not keeping up with the story, so who knows?
That's true. First up, we've got Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, Eve of Judgment. This is, what appears to be a alpha before Judgment Day, I guess is the best way to describe it. Very invested in Jason Aaron's Avengers run currently, invested in Karen Gillan's Eternal run, and obviously we're going to be jumping into Karen Gillan's Immortal X-Men. I'm ready for this. I'm ready to read it.
Yeah, I mean, these are the three things that we've been the most invested in on the corners of Marvel and of all the different sections you can be. And we've pretty much been following Avengers for almost 60 issues now, hundreds of issues in this X-Men run. So, yeah, I think it's, even though Kieran Gillen is going to be the head of this event and he has his own, Immortal X-Men book, I have a feeling that we're going to probably drag in some other X-writers as well and have them involved. I know we at the very least have Jerry Gary doing some extra work for this event.
For sure. And I'm also wondering, and we'll get to it later on in the solicits, but I'm also wondering how much this is going to it's going to impact all three of these books, obviously. But I get a sense, and again, we'll get into it once we see it in our solicitations, that the Avengers book is really going to take a hit, if you will. I don't know. We'll get to it. Like, once we get to Jason Aaron's Avengers, we can kind of come up with our own speculation. But I feel like it might be coming to an end for Jason Aaron on his Avengers run.
Great.
All right, next up, we have the Fortnite Marvel crossover. A little bit of copycat going on here with, DC did it first. They had the comic. Everybody and their grandma was trying to get that book because there were legit pieces of game in the comics that you could actually put into your own game, pickaxe, a character, a skin. So I'm assuming the same thing will happen here with Zero War. I guess if you're a scalper, this is probably something that you may want to get on to, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because if they come out with the collected, it's all going to be there too.
It's not actually. It says in the solicitations, each first print only issue will contain a redeemable code to unlock bonus digital cosmetics. So it looks like Marvel is even going farther than DC did and is actually going to be pushing the collectability of it or scarcity of it, or
I guess it's a two-way
of it, if you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's a two-way road, right? Like, I feel like it's good in the sense for comic shop owners, for the LCS, because it's driving people in to get it, and who knows what else they may buy. They may not. They may buy the one issue that they're allowed to buy and walk out, but you would assume that most people are probably going to skim and go, oh yeah, I remember this, or man, I've been really wanting to get into X-Men or Batman or whatever. So, but at the same time, you've got these dickheads that, try to buy as many copies as they can if they're allowed to, and then just scalp it like crazy on eBay. So, double-edged sword for sure. but I'm not doing it.
No.
All right, next up we have the relaunch of Daredevil from Chip Zdarsky and Checchetto. We're still one issue away from completely concluding Devil's Reign. I think we both have our ideas of where we're going with that. I think you said it, I don't know if it was in a review or if it was in a New Comic Book Day video, but you kind of summed it up pretty nicely, which was essentially with the end of Devil's Reign, we get back to the gritty Hell's Kitchen, unbalanced and back to normalcy, if you will, when it comes to Daredevil.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it seems like we're going to get here. I was really hoping that this book would be called Daredevils, because it seems like we're going to be continuing with Elektra in a Daredevil suit. Not only in this book, but she's going to be appearing in Savage Avengers as well. So, call it Daredevils. Especially if they're renumbering it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Again, it remains to be seen what, the final standing. I would assume Fisk is going to be in jail, but, does Murdoch walk away with his identity still kind of intact? Remains to be seen, but I am I'm ready to read it too. I mean, I just want to keep reading it. I'm glad currently Chip is still on the book, even though he has been named as the new Batman writer. Hopefully they don't end it, 12 issues in.
No, there's no way. This book has been selling too well for them to axe it now.
Right.
It's not like this Batman just got thrown on him. I mean, this has probably happened a long time ago, and we're just now hearing about it.
All right, next up we have X-Men Hellfire Gala. It's year 2 essentially, by Gary Jerry, which I don't believe, did he write the last Hellfire, or was that Hickman? I think it was Hickman. I think it was Hickman. Either way, I know there will be a vote again. We're going to reshuffle the X-Men team again. I don't know. I would assume we're losing Sync and we're adding somebody else in to replace Sync. So that's cool. I will be interested to see how that works out. Are we going to invite everybody back to the gala that's non-mutant, so the Avengers and, the whole thing? Will it get uprooted by Judgment Day? There's a lot of potential here for the gala. And I think Judgment Day is probably the biggest question mark going into the gala, at least for readers. I wouldn't say the characters. They don't know it's coming. But I guess the question would be, what consequence do we have in the X-Men books right now? We're kind of floating until Immortals starts and all the other new books start.
Yeah, we are. But I think, obviously, by the time we get to this point, they're hoping that we're going to be pretty well invested in what's going on. I'm actually particularly interested in the amount of quote-unquote B-list mutants that we're having featured on the very last variant cover. It's got like
I like that one though.
Armor and
so the B-list. So those are all the or not inductees, but they're up for grabs to be on the actual team.
Oh, are they?
So one of these characters will be on the team.
Oh, that's even better, because now I really want it to be Firestar.
You are in the minority there, not with me, but I'm just saying, I remember Comic Book Herald saying, like, come on, don't. He got like,
what?
Yeah, I think he pushed for Gentle, which I think is the Wakandan mutant.
Okay.
Which I think I can't remember who I voted for. It was either him or the Blind Swordsman. I can't remember his name. God damn it. What's his name? Anyway, but yeah, these are the characters that are up to be on the actual team.
Gotcha.
So, we'll find out.
That's probably the cover I'll get.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I kind of dig this cover a lot. The Jean Grey Wolverine.
Yeah, that one's okay. But the A cover to me is just that Cyclops shit that's a no.
It's trash.
It's such a big no for me.
All right, I want to get your perspective on this. I just read about it via, the Solicitations, which is Jane Foster and the mighty Thor. We have the restructured Mjolnir in her hands. Thor appears to have a lightning sword. I know you haven't read Avengers yet. Some stuff happens in that book that I'm really eager to talk to you about this Sunday. But it sounds like Mjolnir is falling and it crashes to Jane. So now she's becoming Thor again, but she's a Valkyrie too. What is this? This?
I don't know. I'm significantly turned off by it. I'm very irritated by it.
Okay.
First of all, the tone is not being set because Ryan Stegman does not miss. I very often, I don't know if I've ever seen him miss before, but this main cover is huge miss for me. Very frustrating. Very bad start.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just I try not to get in between the MCU and comics debate and how much does the MCU influence comics and are editors making choices based off of the popularity of MCU. It's all speculation and you're never really going to know, and it just irritates me to even think about it. But this seems like a prime example of, well, we've got Love and Thunder coming out. We are going to have new readers looking for a Jane Foster Thor comic book. What's the best way to do that? By having a single issue on the shelf that they can grab.
Right.
And that seems very dumb. I'm tired of doing really great arcs and storylines and them not getting a chance to grow in that role. And I don't feel like Jane Foster has been given the respect to grow as Valkyrie very much. She's had 3 limited series that she's not even the only featured person in. So it just feels really frustrating to me. And then now we're getting another mini-series. I don't know. Another mini-series. She's Thor again. But it's kind of confusing because I thought, is this a flashback from the time period of Aaron's Thor? No. Because we see that it's the shattered Odin version of it. And so what does this mean now? Is she relinquishing her Valkyrie powers? Where is her power coming from? Is she getting powered by the Odin Force now? It makes me think a lot of questions that I am just not even interested in knowing the answer to.
Well, you're answering. I'm sorry. Let me say, you're asking all these questions, and none of them will probably be even answered. And that's the crux of it all. Is we ain't oh man, what if this happens? What if Hickman does? Nah, Right. And so for me, it's where does this fit in continuity? And we're gonna get that with a lot of the next books. In June is when I said spicy, it didn't mean it was good. You know what I mean? There's some weird stuff going on, and I'm it doesn't entice me because I don't know where it fits within the continuity. And if they're gonna be well, this is and I don't mind it if it's this is an Elseworld thing, fine, right? But it's not. It's not.
Even Donnie says that this takes place right after the events that just ended in his arc.
Yeah, so I'm just
it's not an Elseworld.
What the fuck? Anyway.
The only thing that gives me pause and to think, okay, it might be pretty good is that Torunn Grumbeck is writing it, and she has been the one that has been writing Valkyrie the entire time. They, even from what Jason Aaron said, they were just throwing his name on there at the end because he is the one that kind of redid Jane, but Torunn was the one who was writing the majority of all of the Valkyrie issues that we've had for the past 2 years.
I will say, if I do end up picking up this book, I will be picking up the Peach Momoko. It is fire.
Yeah.
So next up, we have Amazing Spider-Man issue number 5. This is well into John Romita Jr. and is it Zeb Wells? Zeb Wells' run. Again, I'm giving it 2 issues, so hopefully at this point, I'm hoping that I'm enjoying it because I do like Spider-Man and I do want to read it. And it feels like Marvel's definitely upping its game marketing wise. for this run. You know, when we get our comics, there's always this like, what did Parker do from Zeb Wells's run? So like they're pushing it just as much as they're pushing Immortal X-Men in our our weekly comics.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see it, and I will say this cover here, this is a fire cover. I mean, I am trying to be positive about Romita Jr. being on it, but this is better. I'm just saying.
Well, and because that's a J. Scott Campbell cover, I bet you anything it's going to be a ratio variant of some kind.
No doubt.
Yeah, and it looks like we have issues 5 and 6 coming out this month, so we'll be keeping on our bi-weekly rotation.
It just doesn't that doesn't look good.
Oh, it doesn't.
I'm sorry, and if I'm upsetting any of y'all, I apologize. But like, dude, the perspective, all of it is just poo poo. I'm sorry, it's poo poo.
So this issue 5 is supposed to be the end of the first arc, and then issue 6 is technically legacy number 900. So it's going to be another one of those super flimsy $10 trades that are bound like a normal comic balonies. I imagine that if the first 5 issues don't blow me away personally, because I'm not a huge Spider-Man person, so I'm really gonna have to get like sucked in pretty hard. And if I'm not, I will certainly be jumping off before issue 6 because I'm not throwing down $10 for a
Well, I would throw $10 for this Momoko variant though. Like this silk cover is straight fire. Like smart on Marvel for doing that, and I'm sure I would do it for that one, but remains to be seen.
Also, Ed McGuinness is the artist on the 6th issue, not Jimmy Jr.
Maybe he jumps off.
Wouldn't that be great?
Then I'd totally be back on. Like the story could be crap, and I would totally jump on. All right, next up we have Thor issue 26, part of the Banner of War. I'm even kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm very 50-50, which I usually am not when it comes to Donny Cates, but I just don't know. I don't know. I'm very iffy on this whole crossover event between Thor and Hulk. I'm already kind of iffy on Hulk right now, and it's not that. It's just, and this is going to sound silly, but he's just not that strong of a character for me, pun intended. And I'm digging Thor right now, and so him coming into Thor, I feel like is like, was this always the plan? Obviously it probably was, but I don't know. I'm not excited for it. And this cover doesn't have me excited for it either.
Well, people are freaking out about it too, which I think is really stupid because you'd think comic book fans would understand the red herring cover by now, but this is just, it's just a cover. Like if you look at the next book in the solicitation, where it's the next part of the Banner War, it's Hulk.
Right.
It's the Banner of War finale, and it's the Hulk. It's Thor hulked out. That's not gonna happen. That's not happening. Like, come on, chill out.
But I do like this cover over the other cover. This cover looks dope compared to the other
one. I do too. It's nice. I will probably, because I'm picking up Thor, I'll pick up these Hulk issues. So Hulk gets through issue number 8 for me, but I cannot possibly see
it going past it.
In this book, past that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully, I'm totally wrong. In this, this crossover is great, and it's just something unexpected, just like Donnie has been doing with Thor so far.
Right? No, we'll see. Remains to be seen. Next up, we have Genesville Captain Marvel issue number 1, a 5-part mini. I am not going to be picking this up, but I would imagine you are.
I am. I will be picking this up. At first, I was a little hesitant because I saw Peter David was signed to it as the writer. Not that that's inherently a bad thing, but I thought it was going to be another alien symbiote Spider-Man sort of thing, where it's we're going back to the continuity of the 80s, and this is a story from that time period. And it's not. This is going to be in current continuity, from what I understand. It's essentially introducing Genesville back into our alive players. And they just grabbed Peter David because he was the longest writer of, or only writer pretty much of Genesville.
So this is the character that I've been saying is going to be coming back together, coming back, right? Or no?
You've been saying that Captain Marvel,
Okay,
Marvel.
Marvel.
Back.
Okay. I still think he is. I think he is, but
He is not.
that's okay. He's going to, but
He is not.
have fun with this one.
Yeah, I will let you know. This one yet again has another badass Peach Momoko cover, but the A cover, I don't remember who it's by, but A cover is really nice too.
A cover is nice, and I probably will be picking this book up if it's not an incentive. Peach Momoko for sure, just because it just looks freaking amazing. All right, we continue with Marvel's 1 through 5 minis, and we've got Iron Cat. I'm gonna give it at least 1 because I do like Black Cat as a character, and I like how Jed MacKay writes Black Cat. And I'm kind of intrigued. I'm just a little intrigued. That's all. I want to check it out. I like Black Cat. I liked reading it, and every time we get good Black Cat stories, at some point it gets sucked into some fucking tie-in, and then it gets canceled. Yeah. So it feels like Marvel's going more down the road of minis, which I don't. Part of me likes that, and part of me doesn't. Part of me is like, well, that's kind of nice because I'm not like 60 issues in, and I'm like, what the fuck happened to this series after 5? You know what I mean? But then at the same time, it's like, why only 5? There's no continuity.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I want to check it out.
Yeah, I won't be picking this up in singles, but this is a perfect example of a book that if I hear good reviews on it, I'll swipe the trade right away.
Mm-hmm. For sure. All right, next up we have Knights of X, issue number 3. We haven't obviously gotten the first issue, but we were both huge Teenie Howard fans. We were loving her Excalibur run, and again, we're fighting in Otherworld. I think either issue 1 or 2, maybe it's this issue. It has been teased that we are going to be getting a death in the group. Oh. So death with the X-Men is usually a non. It doesn't really matter, but if you die in Otherworld, is permanent. So
interesting.
Very interested to see where it goes, but I am eagerly waiting for this book to come out because I need Teenie Howard writing mutants again.
Yeah, I'm ready to get back to some semblance of familiarity with where we were at before this break, because the break has caused me to just lose momentum. So
in question, I mean, I'm right there with you. Like, I'm kind of even questioning my X-Men run, and then like I'm looking at our solicitations and what's coming up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that book, or oh yeah, that's a new one, and I genuinely want to be excited for that book. But right now with X and Deaths, it's like kind of feels stagnant. So we need to get it going. All right, next up we have X-Force issue number 29. I know you're probably done with X-Force. That being said, the covers since the break for X-Force has got me truly excited, and I don't know why. And I'm sure I'm gonna regret it, and I'm gonna do the review, and I'm gonna be like, they fucking suck. But I feel like, and this is just my intuition here, I feel like after, once Destiny of X actually starts and takes hold, and maybe it's more hope, that we get back to that feeling of X-Force and X-Men and all the titles, all the classic ones that came out with Hickman, kind of get back to that idea of focusing on the nation of Krakoa, right? And that feels like what Destiny of X is going to be doing, and at the outside of like, we're in true turmoil, you know what I mean? And so I'm wanting, because that was kind of the appeal with X-Force, in the first 5 arcs, if you haven't read it, spoilers, Xavier gets taken out, and like I remember when that happened, it was like, oh shit, like this is big, this is monumental, like that's the guy that does the backups, and now it feels like we're kind of going like towards and against Krakoa itself. It's got me intrigued.
This seems like it's just a continuation of the exact same story that was in previous X-Force that has gone through Lives of X, and then it's still not done with here. I couldn't be less interested. And Joshua Cassaro is only doing the cover, he's not even doing the interiors. Not interested at all.
Next up, we have New Mutants. Vita Ayala. They are still on the book. It's got me mad, crazy, awesome, cool. Let's go do it. Again, we can't really make a lot of comments about these books because we haven't started the arc yet. It's almost like we're in the middle of it or just in the beginning of it. I will be continuing to pick up New Mutants and just interested to see where we're going.
Yeah, it continues to be one of my favorites, especially when Vita took over the book and then Rod Rice started supporting them as well. It's been great.
Next up, we have Immortal X-Men issue number 4 from Karen Gillan. We're moving in the direction of Judgment Day. How are they all going to tie in? Will there be cohesiveness between X-Men, Avengers, and Eternals? You would hope so, but Marvel has proven that they can't do that sometimes. So I think there's a lot of weight on this book specifically. I mean, look, we're starting the book, and then within the second or third issue, we're moving into an event, So that's interesting. It's an interesting take.
It's a tough way to start a book, but they also did that to Sword, and Sword was amazing.
It was fantastic. That's true. So we have X-Men Red issue number 4. Your boy, he ain't looking too hot in this cover. Again, this is an Al Ewing. This is essentially Sword continued, but even more expanded within the X-Men within the cosmic galaxy. I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but we're dealing with a lot more cosmic politics in X-Men Red, and the vibe I'm getting is the downfall of the X-Men, the downfall of Krakoa. That's where we're moving. I hope that's not the case, but at the same time, maybe it should be, just because the main guy that created the concept is no longer on the book.
Yeah. Because it's Al Ewing in its space, I'll be here for a while, but and
Right.
Also Roberto having somewhat of a main presence also.
Right, and will he ever get Deathbird back? Like, there was that whole setup with. I mean, there's some
and
some
the
interesting
spoiler
stuff.
variant that never happened.
Well, maybe it'll happen. I don't know.
Maybe it'll happen.
Okay, Marauders. Haven't started it yet. I did like Steve Orlando's annual. I thought it was really fun. This cover is a vibe right now. Like, I actually really dig this cover. Tempo, to me, is still kind of a new character for me personally. But the group that was set up in Orlando's annual has me intrigued. I will be, at least to this point, reading Marauders.
Yeah, I think I'll probably stick on at this point.
Hopefully, I mean, as long as we get back to what we originally talked about, what the series was supposed to be, which was getting mutants to Krakoa, that didn't have access or couldn't get to gates. If we can get back to that and protecting Krakoan drugs and all that jazz, I'm for it. But I feel like this book got lost in the mud with tie-ins and events. It just didn't. It lost its way.
Yeah, it lost its identity very much. Which, honestly, it was really not a bad book, but it always felt like it was another book. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always be like, oh, what am I reading? X-Force? Oh, what am I reading? New Mutants? And then I'll look, and it's Marauders. I'm like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
These characters aren't Marauder characters. And it's like, well, there isn't really Marauder characters after the first 6 issues.
Mm-hmm.
And there isn't really a theme to the book. And so hopefully, you're right. Hopefully we get back to a structured book.
Back to the basics for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we have issue number 12 of Gary Jerry's X-Men. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Pepe Larraz is on the cover and the interiors. How long for? Don't know. I am keeping the faith. I'm sticking with it. I genuinely do like Gary Jerry's story, even though he set up literally 5 different stories within the first 5 issues. But, the most recent issue that we read, he kind of brought it back in. So hopefully we can kind of hone in on that. I would assume that we're going to be debuting the new X-Men. I bet this cover is a red herring. I bet Sync will be out and the new X-Men will be in there.
No, the description says this is on the eve of the Hellfire Gala. So
Gotcha.
I think X-Men
One last
13 will be the Hellfire Gala issue.
Okay. but again, we're teasing Judgment Day. I have been digging this, and I feel like, I don't know if it's because Jerry has been said, hey, just kind of go in a holding pattern until we can get to Destiny, and then we can really start playing ball, or if the series is really going to be like that, where we set up 5 different story arcs, and then the 6th issue within that arc that he has set up rounds it up again. I don't know. But Gary, for me, I'm not trying to say that Hickman's X-Men was not easy to read. It was, and it was intriguing and awesome, and I miss it dearly. But I feel like Jerry does a good job of just saying, like, dumbing it down without dumbing it down. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. Next up, we have Avengers Forever, issue number 7. I felt like this was a mini for some reason, but this goes into where I think Jason Aaron is going with, I believe, the end of his Avengers run. We're playing again into the multiple versions of Steve Rogers in this book, and I just feel like Aaron is trying to set up the off ramp in a very epic way. But I think the end of Jason Aaron's Avengers run is coming. And it's purely speculation. It hasn't been announced. But with this Avengers Forever going past 5 or 6 issues, to me is like, I'm building to this very big thing that's going to get me out of Avengers.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I just, for some reason, felt like it was only going to be 5 issues, and we're going past to 7. So I think we're going for like a full 12, if not further, to kind of get off the ramp.
Yeah, they don't have an anticipated stop date as of yet. Like, they haven't told us. So.
Mm-hmm. And then speaking of Jason Aaron's Avengers run, we have 57, where again, we are, the most recent issue that we read kind of closed the book a little bit on this idea of multiverse, but then we're going right back into it with Aaron. And I just think he's setting up this ramp to, bring in all of the stories that he's been telling within the Avengers universe, whether if that's, what was that event that I like jumped into wholeheartedly? Heroes Reborn. And then this multiverse invasion with Avenger Prime. We're moving in that direction, and I just feel like he's getting ready to just throw everything at the wall and go, here we go. Like, this is it. And I don't know if that number is at 60 or what, but I feel like it's coming. I think soon we will be hearing Jason Aaron's Avengers run is ending at issue blah.
We've been saying that for a year now.
That is true. I mean, we jumped in at the halfway point, if you will, when we started, like 25.
Yep.
Next up, we have issue 45 of Fantastic Four. Kind of the roundabout of the Reckoning War, kind of see where we're going to go from here. I've been enjoying the Reckoning War, and so, I am currently enjoying Dan Slott's Fantastic Four, so interested to see how far we're going to go, if we're going to continue. Obviously, I think he will. But just a lot going on here.
There is, yeah. I hope his run does continue. I think for the most part, we've been in a really healthy part of it, and Reckoning War has been good. So the solicitation paints this issue as a big issue. How the Marvel universe has changed. Of course, we're doing that.
Seems to be happening in every book.
A month, but
yeah.
I am interested to see what ramifications the Reckoning War is going to have, and whether they'll be big or not. Also, just judging by this cover, it looks like Johnny is still stuck. So I'm getting a little anxious to get that resolved.
And let's bring back Franklin. Like, fucking fix Franklin, please. All right, next up we have Iron Man Hellcat Annual number 1. Cover A is, but cover B, yes, please. When this duo was established in Iron Man, the current Iron Man comic, I was kind of like, wait, what? But it quickly grew on me. So very interested to see what spawns out of this annual.
Yeah, so I think from what I understand storyline wise, this annual is going to be released between the end of the Korvac saga, the huge Korvac saga,
okay,
and the next arc of Iron Man.
Okay.
So this, I mean, you could almost count this as a, I don't remember what issues they are. Let's just say it's a 19 and a half, in between issues 19 and 20. But I really like that they specifically are co-headlining Hellcat with this. She's obviously been one of the best parts of this Iron Man run. She's a really good foil to Tony. But I don't want her, especially don't want her used and like her, traumatic experiences used just to promote Tony. Like I want to see character
Right.
growth with her as well. So hopefully, with her getting a co-headline here, we'll see something like that.
Yeah. I mean, Hellcat comic on her own.
I think it would be interesting. I think a lot of people would be interested in that, but
Yeah.
only if Cantwell's writing it.
All right, next up we have Captain Marvel issue 39, Binary. Is she the next Captain Marvel? Captain, Carol Danvers missing. I think we kind of called this when Binary was again introduced in the Vox Supreme story arc again. We'll see where it goes. I still am on this run. I like it. I don't know how I feel about the cover itself, but I am digging still Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. I'm interested to see this. Carol. So what happens is Carol is getting brought before a tribunal of magic wielders.
Oh yeah.
I like how they're having Agatha Harkness be the one that pulls her in. Obviously because of the WandaVision show, she's much more prevalent to people now.
Yeah.
But essentially, I think what it is it says Carol's crimes against a powerful foe are coming back to haunt her as Agatha Harkness, helming a tribunal of some of Marvel's most powerful magic wielders, puts her on trial. I think this is going to be Enchantress saying, yo, she was messing with my shit and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see a bunch of cool magic users, which, yeah, I mean, that's neat, whatever.
Yeah.
I like how Kelly Thompson really has played with all the different little pools, little sandboxes that there are in Marvel. There's the sci-fi and there's the magic and there's the fighting, and she's kind of taking Carol to every single corner of the Marvel universe.
For sure. All right, we have issue number 5 of She-Hulk. I am all over this. I know you are not, but the whole Jack of Hearts storyline and who's messing with She-Hulk and Jack of Hearts. I mean, I didn't even know shit about Jack of Hearts, and just the way he was written into this, I don't know. It's just it's definitely different comparative to some other She-Hulk runs, like Dan Slott's She-Hulk run, which was much more legal centric and kind of less. I mean, there was action in it, but it just was more like dense in that way. And I'm not saying I don't want that. Obviously, that's the mainstay of the character, but I feel like there's at least within 2 issues that I've read, there's been a very nice balance of personal life, action, law, and mystery currently going on in the run. We got to get to 5 here, but I hope we have a Iron Man situation that we're currently reading where we get a very long arc rather than 5 or 6 issues. Because I feel like there's a lot to play around with here, and I'm digging it. I mean, yes, I am a She-Hulk fan. I'm going to like the book no matter what, but I think the book is genuinely good because it feels so diverse when it comes to the theme of the book.
It's one of these that I think I'm just going to have to trade weight for. I just am not that excited about it.
Yeah, no, I got you. I'm not going to... I'm going to tell you every week that it's good, but, you don't have to listen.
No, it's not that I don't believe you. It's just not. It's not my thing. It's almost like me trying to convince you to read Alien, which yeah,
which you're gonna keep reading.
Of course, it's been great.
Okay,
it's been so good. And this is Alien Annual #1. Same team, Philip Kennedy Johnson, Salvador Roca, and looks like this is gonna be a flashback issue, showing us kind of like what happened with Gabriel Cruz when he had his run-in with the alien and got impregnated with it, but it somehow didn't burst out of him. So hopefully we get an answer to that in this annual one-shot.
All right. Next up, we have The Mandalorian, issue number 1. We have our first ever comic of The Mandalorian. This isn't the cover appearance. That was in Darth Vader, I don't know, whatever issue. But I think this is a mini, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, it is an ongoing. I am going to give it a shot. I know I've kind of jumped out of Star Wars outside of the High Republic. And I want to check it out, see what it's about. You know, I actually really like all the covers, including the action figure variant. I just think that's really cool. But I will be picking up at least issue 1, Star Wars The Mandalorian.
I will be picking up issue 1 as well, because that is a killer cover, Addy Granoff cover. I think it would take a really extraordinary issue to get me to keep picking this up in singles.
Agreed.
Especially because the story looks like at least for the first little bit of this book, we are going to cover what we've already seen in the show.
Okay.
So it says that we're going to witness the introduction of Din Djarin and the first meeting between the Mandalorian and the child. So that sounds like episode 1 of the Mandalorian. And I don't necessarily need to have the show rehashed to me right this moment. This will probably be a trade pickup for me too. And actually, as we go down this list, there's a ton of really good Star Wars books, or really good sounding Star Wars books. I don't think we're going to particularly highlight, but if you want to like scroll and hit them as we go.
Yeah, I think the biggest one on the list for me, I mean, this one looks cool, but I'm not going to be reading it.
But I still want to say Han Solo and Chewbacca. It's a series I'll probably pick up in trade, because I love the Star Wars comics. But I love that they're introducing some Dr. Aphra characters outside of her book and having Black Chrysanthemum in there.
Now, if there's one that I am going to be picking up or hoping that it is good, it is Star Wars Obi-Wan. This is issue number 2. I want to read this.
This is another one. It's written by Christopher Cantwell. All the covers are going to be by Phil Noto. But there's no way I'm picking this up in singles. I'm just going to wait for the trade.
Okay,
I know I want it, and I know I want to read it, but there's nothing pivotal that's going to be happening in here that's going to just revolutionize things that I need to know month by month. So I'll wait for the trade just like the other ones.
Okay. All right, well, that's going to wrap up Marvel Solicitations for June 2022. Obviously, we didn't hit all the books. Let us know down in the comments, what are you looking forward to? Obviously, we missed some. Are there some that we missed that you're looking forward to? Let us know down in the comments. As always, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, give us a like. Hey, he got it. He got the placement perfect this time. And we'll see you guys live if you're watching this. I mean, we're live every Sunday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time here on YouTube. We talk about our weekly pulls, and then we have our Wednesday videos, new comic book day videos, and then we break comic book news whenever it does break. Usually, bigger ones that we're not going to say like, hey, Judgment Day is coming. It's coming because we just talked about it in Solicitations. But look out for those. And as always, fam, read more comics. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.